Now, I've been waiting a long time for this. I love Goosebumps, and in fact, it was the book series that got me reading and starting to write. And I have to say, a movie, I'm okay with it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Gear Breaker Nation, where we give excellent assessment and reviews. And in this video, we're going to be sitting here reviewing Goosebumps. Goosebumps is a 2015 comedy horror film that follows a kid named Zach who ends up moving to this small town and meeting this girl named Hannah. And after discovering that her father is the famous author R.L. Stine, ends up mistakenly unleashing the very monster that he write about into the real world. Now it's up to the group to sit there and put them back where they belong. I had my words about it. This movie was actually surprisingly pretty good. In fact, I enjoyed it so much I might actually even buy it. Now, the performances were okay. I didn't mind any of the actors. Jack Black actually does a pretty decent job. I never really liked Jack Black because he tends to play the same character, and he kind of does in this film, but it also, the fact that he's a bit more serious actually adds to his performance, and I think he pulled it off really well. Zach and Hannah are actually pretty cool characters. I understood where both of the characters were coming from. I like their personalities. I like the characteristics that they each had, and I thought they meshed together as potentially romantic interests. So I really enjoyed those three characters. And you got this character named Champ. Champ was actually a decent character. He's like the funny comedy relief for this film, but I thought sometimes he becomes a bit annoying because he's so over the top at times, but he actually is a decent character. He's likable, and he ends up even having a moment in the film which even surprised me. We have to sit here and talk about the one character that was just freaking phenomenal. Oh, that's Slappy. Slappy is the main antagonist from Night of the Living Dummy series and the Goosebumps series, and he was completely badass in this film. I loved the way he talked, the way he was coming after the characters. Dude managed to be menacing, and it actually puts the character in a different perspective because I never actually saw Slappy as a menacing antagonist, but in this film he manages to be more than menacing. The story was actually pretty cool. It actually comes off as a Goosebump book, so it actually felt like a Goosebump book. It was actually pretty funny in many parts. It was emotional in other parts. It was pretty action-packed. It was dark. Another thing about the film that makes it stand out is the fact that some of the incarnations of the creatures that are released from the books. The Abominable Snowman was actually pretty threatening. The werewolf from Fever Swamp, he was pretty badass. I like the fact that actually had a bit of personality. There was one scene where he was sitting here cornering the group and everything, and he was walking between these two diesel trucks and he was like scratching the trailers, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like a suspenseful built up moment where it's like, okay, I'm going to get you, I'm going to take my time, and you know I'm coming for you. I really like that one creature besides Slappy that was completely badass was the giant praying mantis from A Shock on Shock Street. That thing was freaking awesome. It was threatening, it was dangerous, it was a badass, it was so menacing. That was the one creature that I just flipped for. The film does have a couple of issues that did kind of irk me from time to time. One issue is Champ's character. I felt like he was too over the top at times, and it did detract from some of the more serious moments. And also, when it comes to his character, there are so many conveniences in the script that is distracting. Like, there's one moment where the werewolf from Fever Swamp is eating on a piece of meat, and the group end up walking up on him, and they're trying to be quiet. Then Champ walks up and actually opens up a bottle of soda and gets his attention. And I was like, that doesn't make sense for you to have done that. I can understand if he probably would have bumped the bottle off a shelf or something. That would have seemed more realistic than you see a werewolf eating something and you sit here and open up a bottle of soda. Like something like that. That instance did kind of irk me. Another thing that did irk me was the fact that there were way too many creatures in this film to actually feature them all. If this film would have came off as a trilogy, that would have been a better way to actually unleash and show some of these different monsters. But the fact that they actually tried to unleash all of the monsters in one movie did detract from it, did make it a bit oversaturated with them, so it was hard to kind of focus on certain ones. Like the ones that they did focus on, they did a great job. The giant mantis, the abominable snowman, the werewolf, Slappy, the lawn gnomes, the invisible boy, the aliens from the invasion of the body squeezers, which I don't really understand why they were really in the movie, because they had like one segment one or two segments in the film, but not really a direct segment with the main characters. I have to say, this movie was actually a freaking blast. It was better than I thought it was. I did like the characters. I did like Jack Black, surprisingly. I did like the monsters. I thought Slappy was badass. The story was actually pretty good. And I just have to say that Goosebumps definitely deserves a 4 out of 5. I was really on the fence about giving it a 4 out of 5, but I have to say, outside of those tidbits of problems right there, I really thought the movie was really good, and I'm definitely going to buy it. In the comment section below, guys, let me know, did you enjoy the Goosebumps movie? And if you did, tell me which incarnation or monster or creature that they had in the film that you liked the most. And also, please let me know which is your favorite Goosebumps book. Because me, personally, I believe mine is Beware the Snowman, along with The Beast from the East. Those are like my 2 favorite ones. So, anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next edition of Gear Breaker Nation. And remember, keep those gears turning.